Fernando what?
Fernando Reyes.
Who else is here?
Even though he gave agents a fake name, Fabian Cortez's tattoos gave him away. He's a wanted criminal.
I mean, I've been here all my life, and I keep getting the boot to Mexico.
How many times have you been deported?
This will be my third time.
You keep coming back, huh?
I mean, my babies are here.
Call the local PD, let them know we're in the area.
And why are you guys going after this guy?
Drug paraphernalia is a violation of the resident status, and he's got 2 convictions, so he's obviously not rehabilitated.
All right, just have a seat. We'll figure it out.
You gotta go see the judge, man.
I'm not a criminal. I'm not a,
Most of the people that this unit arrests are from Mexico. This guy happens to be from Iraq. He's not a U.S. citizen, but he is here legally. But that could all change if a judge decides to deport him.
He did 6 months and then 6 years probation.
In the 2 short years this task force has worked Arizona's streets, they've caught 214 criminal immigrants.
This is a temporary holding center where the immigrants are fingerprinted and photographed. From here, some of them will be deported. Others will be sent on to a detention center.
The situation back there is bad.
Why did you want to come here to the United States?
Every day somebody's dead, killing, bombing, all that stuff. It's not a safe place to stay.
Basim Saba has had a green card for nearly 2 decades. He works as a mechanic, he pays taxes, and has a son and other family here, which made it easier for agents to track him down. But he could lose everything because of his arrest for cocaine possession.
Nobody told me if you get certain felonies, you're going to be deported,
There are a lot of people that would do anything to get a green card. And those people might say that you blew your chance.
I mean, everybody's going to get arrested for some stupid things you do.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter to these immigration enforcers whether the criminal is here legally or illegally. Commit a crime, and you're going home.
Yeah, I used to be from Puerto Rico.
Okay. How long are you with him for?
I was with him from the age of 12 to around the age of 20, 21. I stopped gangbanging.
His tattoos, like many other criminals, provide a roadmap of his life.
It's XB3. This is the street name.
All right, what about that one under your ear there?
That's WBP.
What's that?
Wetback power.
And for Fabian Cortez, that roadmap will likely lead straight back to Mexico.
It says, forgive me, Mom. It's in Spanish. It says, forgive me.
Why are you asking your mother for forgiveness?
I should have listened to her when I was gangbanging. I didn't.
About 60% of the immigrants captured by this ICE team are legal residents. Some of them will be sent to prison here in the United States, others deported. Scene and Catherine?
Tammy, thank you. You've seen the roundups, huge groups of illegal immigrants getting hauled away in handcuffs. But where do they end up? We got special access to the Florence Detention Center where these immigrants are locked up. These inmates come from all over the world, roughly 70 different countries. Here's a typical snapshot from one day in mid-May. While the bulk of the illegal immigrants were from Mexico and Guatemala, there were also detainees from China, Afghanistan, Kenya, and the Philippines, just to name a few. And of course, our border is not broken just when it comes to immigration. We've seen an increase in violence along the border for a couple of years now. And at the heart of it, drug cartels battling over smuggling routes. Now, this chilling surveillance video right here shows just how dangerous it is. You see more than a dozen armed men going on a shooting rampage in Chihuahua, Mexico in broad daylight. Just a few months ago, 3 people connected to the U.S. consulate in Juarez, Mexico were ambushed and killed. 2 of them were American citizens.
And now Mexican drug cartels are preying on Valley kids. This year, our investigators revealed how these dangerous groups are using Valley kids to buy guns and then smuggle them into Mexico.
Because it's easy money. I mean, like I said, like we buy an AR-15 for about $800, $900. You sell it for $1,900, just drive it across the border.
That is a gun smuggler who is now in an Arizona prison. He told us that he recruited teens from Tempe and Mesa to smuggle assault rifles like AK-47s and AR-15s over the border.
I definitely know it was going back to the cartels in Mexico, because every time we took guns down there, we take 4 or 5 of them, They'd give us about $9,000 for all of them, and it'd all be $20 bills, and they'd come within like 5 minutes as soon as we got there, all the time.
Now, these drug cartels rely heavily on smugglers from Arizona to stockpile their arsenal, an arsenal that's used in killings like this one down in Nogales, just 2 miles across the U.S. border. Well, ranchers in southern Arizona are on the front line of the border battle.
I'm not going to be the good guy anymore because that's going to get me killed.
Still to come, we get a first-hand look at how Arizona's broken border is affecting them day in and day out.
And up next, I sit down with Sheriff Joe Arpaio. We'll get the straight answer to what's next for his office and the people he's paid to protect.
I knew it would come to this, unfortunately. I don't think it's the best thing, but without really protecting the border as it should be, I don't know what else you're going to do.
It's a shame, you know, I don't want my kids to, I don't want my kids to have to grow up somewhere where they're hated.
I'm Peter Bush. The Suns are back in it. We'll tell you how they burned the Lakers tonight. Next on CBS 5 News at 10.
We're outmanned. Of all the illegals in America, more than half come through Arizona.
Have we got the right plan?
Plan's perfect. You bring troops, state, county, and local law enforcement together.
And complete the dang fence.
It'll work this time. Senator, you're one of us.
I'm John McCain, and I approve this message.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve McClain.
Illegal immigrants
pulled over near Arizona Mills 15 people into custody. A few minutes later and a few miles away.
in drop houses crammed in the back of a pickup.
The face of the immigration battle.
Found the house near 67th Avenue.
Shoved into filthy, vacant houses in our neighborhoods.
We're lying in the bed under a carpet.
Crammed into the back of pickups, racing down our freeways, on our street corners, desperately waiting for work of any kind. Another day in the life of the valley. But as the sun sets at the border, it's an entirely different battle for ranchers living at Ground Zero. And we recently traveled to southern Arizona and spent some time with one Arizona rancher. Now, his land is right on the border. In fact, the barbed wire fence that lines his 14,000-acre ranch literally is the border.
I could spend all day long fixing fence, and the next day it'd be cut again. My name's John Ladd, and I'm a rancher in southeastern Arizona on the Mexican border. My family homesteaded here in 1896. Well, ranching isn't the most lucrative profession anymore, but you get to be outside every day and working with animals. The cows are constantly being scared out of different little pastures they're supposed to be grazing in. It's a constant deluge of people coming through the ranch. This big tree is a landmark for them to sit and look at the highway and wait for their ride. I still haven't figured out how come that, it's just all of this is typically it's all full of women's underwear. I don't know what that is. But that's the biggest problem. What is it? Every rancher that I know is just trying to pick up all this stuff, but between fixing fences, picking up trash, fixing water lines, there just isn't any time to be a rancher anymore. This ranch is unique because our southern boundary is the border. Border Patrol has the road along the border. Kind of quiet down around the house the last 3 days. Think that bill had anything to do with anything?
Oh, maybe.
You can have, an agent every half a mile on the border, and that's going to help, but that isn't going to solve the problem. But until the law is honored and both countries enforce their laws, it isn't going to change. If they come around the house, we'll give them a drink of water, but I'm not going to be the good guy anymore because that's going to get me killed. I don't come out on the ranch at dark anymore. We're not going to leave, and my kids are all going to stay, and so hopefully we can continue ranching without being fearful of what's going to happen to us every day.
And ranchers just 50 miles from Phoenix are having similar problems. We spent a day with a rancher in Pinal County who is so scared that he didn't want to be identified. He sees daily evidence of the illegal immigrants and drug smugglers who cross his land.
And now they're coming right up through our yard, coming right up to our pool, coming to our water fountain, and, they're just really bold this year.
That rancher lives just a few miles from where a Pinal County deputy was shot and wounded by suspected drug smugglers in April.